I want to talk to you a little bit about sorting and filtering data in Excel. I'm going to talk you through a sample problem. I will email you the instructions and the spreadsheet if this is something that you want to sit down with the video and see if you can work through it. You are not required to do this, but you will have an assignment on sorting and filtering. So that's the reason that I'm going to go through this one with you. This is an old assignment that I used to use with the 105 students. So spreadsheets, we know, can contain information. We have our labels up here at the top, and then whatever the data is that has been input into those cells. And there's no real rhyme or reason as to what order it's in. I can see that I have a total of 67 records because this top record isn't really a record, it's the labels, and then if I come down here, then this is my 68th record, but if you subtract one, you'd actually have 67. So we're starting with 67 records worth of data. So what do you do with this data? Sometimes you open up spreadsheets and you're looking at it and you're thinking, man, what am I supposed to do with this? Is it in date order? Is it in cost order? You know, can I change it? I want to look at things a little bit more clearly. And so we can sort data in a spreadsheet and we can filter data in a spreadsheet. From the Home tab, if we go over here to the editing grouping, you're going to see sort and filter. And if I just click the drop down arrow next to sort and filter, we can see that we can do an AZ sort, which means we're sorting ascending or lowest to highest. A Z to A sort would be descending or highest to lowest. And then we can also go in and do a custom sort. So let's just say that I wanted to sort the total column ascending. I can click on letter G up in the header. I can come over here to sort and filter. And if I'm going to do ascending lowest to highest, I click on the A to Z. And so now I'm lowest to highest. So I have sorted that data. What you want to make sure that you do, anytime you do a sort, you need to undo the sort. Anytime you do a filter, you need to undo the filter before you do the next step. So if I wanted you to sort the total ascending, how am I going to know that you did that unless you do a screen capture of that? So what you need to do is use your snip and sketch tool and then go ahead and do your new rectangular sketch or snip, and then you just go ahead and you do a snip of the data for me so that I can see that you did what you were asked to do. And so you would save that file as whatever I told you to. So I'm just going to say total ascending because that's the name of the snip. And I'll just save it on my desktop. So then I can close out of my snip and sketch tool. And two things. You can either click the undo button to undo your sort, or you can click the drop down and where it says filter. Oh, not filter. Sorry. I want to turn my sort off. I guess I just need to undo it. There you go. You notice that I clicked in the header when I did that. If I wanted to sort by representative name, descending, get the black drop down arrow up in the header. I'm going to go to sort and filter and I will sort descending. And it says, okay, so now you have more data in your spreadsheet. Do you want to expand the selection? Well, yes, I do, because if I just sort this column, if I continue with the current selection on this column, then all of a sudden alphabetically, there are people who are going to be charged for things that they never purchased. So we need to keep the data together or keep the record together. So yes, I want to expand the selection. And I click on sort. And so now it kept all of Thompson's data with Thompson and all of Sorvino's data with Sorvino. Now again, if I want to see that you did that, how am I going to know? You're going to have to come down here, wherever you've got your snip and sketch tool, go ahead and do a screen snip of that data. and then save it as whatever you're being asked to save it as. So this one might be rep descending. DESCENDNG. And so you would have those snips that you could upload then to me in my MTI if needed. And I will just go ahead and undo that sort so I'm back at my original spreadsheet. So those are just basic sorts, but we can also do what's called a custom sort. So if I click in the spreadsheet and I come over here to sort and filter and I click on custom sort, I can add levels to my sorting. So I can start sorting. How do I want to sort? What do I want to sort by first? Maybe I want to sort by the salesperson. So that would be my rep. And I'm gonna sort then maybe by, I can add a level and sort by the total. And I want the highest amount to be at the top. So if I want to sort by my reps, my sales reps, I can sort them ascending if I want. A to Z doesn't really matter, but if I want the total, like the largest total at the top, then I need to go largest to smallest. And so now I can click OK. And so now you're going to see Anderson, he only has one. But I go to Andrews, largest, then the next largest, then the next largest, then the next largest. So I'm sorting by their names, largest to smallest. So that is an example of a custom sort. And again, if instructions ask you to save it, you're going to have to do a screen capture of that. If there are more records, like right now I'm only getting a screen capture of 38 records. If you want to see all the records, because I've had students say, well, how do I get so that you can see all the records? You're going to have to go down and reduce the size of your Zoom and then do the screen capture that way if you want to make sure that I can see everything that I need to see. So you can still go in and do a screen capture, and I can just select then all of the records, and that becomes my screen capture, and I can see that you did everything. So it is important that when you do your screen captures that you're saving all of the data for me to be able to see with a sort so that you can get credit for that. If that's what you're asked to do. In the assignment, I think I might have split things up onto separate sheet tabs. So you just have to save each sheet tab as you do your sort. You don't have to undo anything. Okay, so let me go back and zoom in here. And I'm going to undo the custom sort so that I'm back to my original spreadsheet. I had a few undos to do there. Okay, so that's sorting data. So it's pretty self-explanatory to sort data. You can add levels, you can remove levels. If I were going to go back in and do another custom sort, if I've added region, maybe I want to find the region and then I add a level and I'm going to say, okay, then I want the order date, and then I'm going to add another level and maybe I want the salesperson. And then, oh, I guess I don't. I could click on a level and I could delete a level if I want, and so then it will delete those levels. So those are just some options that you have as you're working with your different sorts. So I went in and undid all of that, and I'm back to my original spreadsheet. The next thing that we can do is a filter. So what a filter does is it doesn't change the data. It just gives us a quick look at what the data will be. It like hides the other columns and rows or the other rows of data so that I'm only looking at what I'm requesting. Whereas a sort, we saw that it took all of the data and it manipulated it and sorted it and moved it. A filter just gives us a quick look at something, and that's really important. It's a great way to look at if you have a long spreadsheet, you don't want to have to do sorts and then undo and undo a filter. You can just apply the filter, look at the data, remove the filter, and then move on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work with a filter. So let's just say that I want a filter that is going to show me all of the transactions from the central region. That's what I want to see. Just the transactions from the central region. I don't want to see the rest. So I'm going to click in central region. Notice I'm clicking in the label of what it is that I want to take a look at. I'm going to come over here to sort and filter, and I'm going to click on the little funnel. That's the filter. So what that does is it turns filtering on, and you're going to notice that you have arrows next to each of those labels. And so now what do you want to do within that region? If you click the drop down, you can see that you have the option now to pick what it is you want to look at. And I said, okay, I just want to look at the central region. So I'm going to uncheck West, uncheck East, and click OK. So now notice I'm just looking at Central. And you can see over here, notice how your row header became a different color, and you can see all of these double lines. That's indicating that you've got hidden rows in there. But I'm just filtering out, and you can see the little filter is on. I'm just filtering out those that equal Central. So I can click that filter, and I can clear the filters. So just click on the X to clear filter, and now I'm back to my spreadsheet again. It is important with a filter that you do your screen capture so that I can see the data of what it is that you filtered out. Let's say that we want to filter all of the transactions that are under $100. So I would be in my total column. So I need anything that's under $100. Well, if you click the drop down, notice that you're not going to go through these, and you're not going to click every single box to find those that are under $100. You could, but it's time consuming. So you see what's called number filters. Notice when you click or hover over that, you get a little pop-out. So do we want it to equal $100? Do we want it to not equal $100? What do we want it to do? Well, we want it to be less than $100. So we're going to say less than, and then it's going to give us a box. Less than what? We're going to type in $100, and we're going to click OK. And so now notice that filter gave us every transaction that's under $100. So again, you'd want to do a screenshot of that. So we'll just go ahead and do a quick screen snip. And I could save this one as transactions less than 100. And I could save that to my desktop. So when I want to clear my filter, I can either do it like I showed you earlier by clicking on this and clearing filter, or you can go back under here under the filter button. Notice how you have clear. So you can clear your filter that way too. So there's more than one way to be able to clear a filter. So the last filter we want to do is, let's just see if we can find the transactions from May of 2017. We have several different records here from several different months. If I click on the drop down, under date, I'm going to uncheck 2016 because I don't want anything in 2016, and then I can simply go in here and take the check marks out of everything but May of 2017 and click OK, and I have 4 records. So that's just kind of a quick overview of sorting and filtering. Again, I'm going to provide you with this spreadsheet and the instructions if you want to try to do it on your own and see if you can come up with the answers. I will give you a copy of the answers as well, just so that you can see. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.